Good afternoon. It's been a long time since I've made a video. It's been a lot of things have happened since my last video, so it's been a long hiatus for me. Without going into too much detail, we've moved. This is our new residence. I had gotten COVID-19, a real bad case of it. I was in the hospital 13 days. It took long recovery time. But I'm better now. That was all back in August and July and August and September. So it's just been a long time. Anyway, so finally I've got a new, well, it's not a new computer. I've had to rebuild portions of the inner workings on the computer, but it's a new computer now. I got the new editing program loaded into it, the whole 9 yards, so hopefully I can get back into doing this more frequently. I would enjoy it. I have enjoyed it. I've kind of missed this. So I thought for the first video I've done, or review I've done in a long time, it's just something I picked up during my illness that I actually tried about a week before. Not even that, maybe a couple of days before Scott and Bart's 12 Hours of Boom back in October. And it's a Balblair 15. And I'd taken it over there for the Scotch test dummies to examine too as well. So anyway, here's the good look at the bottle. I have enjoyed quite a bit of it. And this is good. Balblairs are not common in Kansas. This is one of the few we've gotten, and but it's a good choice. Balblair used to come with yearly statements on the bottle. They weren't age stated per se. They had a year and how many years it was matured, which was bracketed by the years. I don't know how to say that. That's not saying that right. They come with a vintage. That's the word I'm looking for. Excuse me, guys. It's been a while. So anyway, but now they come with an age statement in this case. This is 46% alcohol by volume. I purchased this back probably in late September, beginning of October. I opened it sometime during October. I've kind of quit writing the dates on the bottle and pen where I've opened them and so on and so forth like I used to do. It is natural color and non-chill filtered. So anybody that has watched Ralphie, who doesn't know who Ralphie is, I encourage you to check his channel out. These are two things that tick his boxes. That's a good way to put it. This is matured initially in American oak, ex-bourbon casks, I can't even talk, followed by the rich influence of first fill Spanish oak buds. It doesn't tell on the bottle whether it is Oloroso or Pedro Jimenez sherry, or if it's a combination thereof of both. We don't know. Anyway, it's got a nice, good color. We do not know how long it was transferred from ex-sherry into the finish, how long the finish actually took place. It doesn't say so at all. Followed by rich influence of the first fill Spanish oak butts. But there's no information given to us either on the bottle or on the carton. It came in that tell us how long it was put in there, unless I'm just missing it, but I do not see it on here anywhere. I do like Balblair. It is a very Very rich whiskey. That's a good way to put it. Even in their bourbons, they all have a nice rich flavor to them. That fire is hot. I can feel that. And it's got a lot. I built it earlier today, and it's got a lot of coals in the bottom. The oldest working distillery in the heart of the Scottish Highlands, Balblair, was founded in 1790. I didn't know that. Anyway, I've looked. Let's get back to the whiskey. I got a little water here and a straw to add a little water to it. We've been 5 minutes or so. Maybe not quite that long, but more than long enough. Right off the bat, we get the sherry influence. Shows up beautifully. That's the first thing to hit your nose. There's a nice vanilla. There's a nutty background, almonds. There's an almond background in this. There's a lot of good vanilla in it. And it's got more of a dry, it's more of a dried dark fruit note to it. To me, it's not the fresh. It doesn't come across as fresh. Somebody else might have a better palate. Maybe tell me I'm wrong, but that's what I get. On the nose, anyway. I didn't swirl it for you guys, but I don't like to swirl a lot. It does give us some density. It's not quite as thick and oily as some are. It develops the legs. The legs start to run fairly quickly after they do develop. But they're not fast by any means. You get a nice sherry influence on top of a nice rich vanilla with some almond notes in this. Touch of ginger. Definitely a touch of ginger in there. Cheers. Up front with the vanillas, cinnamon, nutmeg, then the fruits kick in, dried fruits, dried plums, raisins. The vanilla is nice in this one. That's probably for me, it's the vanilla balanced with the fruits and the spiciness. A little bit of ginger comes in there. It's a balanced dram. I'm not going to say it's the most intensely flavored. It's not it has a lot of deep flavors, but it's not as intense as some, let's say, a Longmorn 16. It reminds me actually a lot of that. It's just not quite, it doesn't bring quite the depth the Longmorn does. Very similar though. And upfront flavor, taste, and delivery. Mouthfeel, viscosity wise, medium, slightly medium heavy. It's not a dense or thick. It's not very oily. It's just past medium on the mouthfeel. It's got a little bit more oily texture than others. A little more creamy, oily note. It drinks very well though. 46%. Gives a lot of good flavor. It is a bit pricey here in Kansas. Paid a little over $100 for this bottle. Picked it up at Groves. Was it Groves? Yeah, I think it was Groves. Rene. I've enjoyed the bottle, as you obviously can tell. I mean, I buy a lot of bottles, so I drink a lot of whiskey, so not a lot, but a lot. So I don't tend to ever drain bottles over. It takes a while. I mean, I drain them, but it's not as fast as others. Found this goofy metal straw that my daughter, she likes to do. We're going to just add a drop, maybe 1, 2, 2 drops water to it. Let it swirl around. It even brings out a little more vanilla. Also brings out a sugar. Brings out a soft sugar note in that nose. The spicy fruitiness is still there, but it's in the background. Just slow roll it a couple of times. Smells good. I really don't change it that much. Brings out the sugars more. I think for me the shining spot in this is it is a well-balanced dram. This really is. It's play with the sweetness, especially after you add a little water, the sweetness, but the vanillas and the spices play really well back and forth. They mingle real well together. You get the nice transitions through the parts of your tongue. The finish is medium long. It's not super long by any means, but it does linger. I enjoy it. I mean, I have enjoyed it, and I still enjoy it. Would I buy it again? Yeah, there's a chance I would. Actually, I wouldn't mind if I didn't have a lot of others that, of course, you get out there and I see this, I go, well, I've already tried that, but I haven't tried this, and I'm going to try that, and I want. So, you know, it's hard to always reinvest in drams. The only time I find my self-reinvesting in drams is like maybe the Old Pulteney 17, for instance. They don't make no more. If I see a bottle of that, I buy it and squirrel it away. Because I really have always liked that one. That's always been a good bottle for me. I did buy another Glengarry 12 the other day, the first one I've seen in a while, but I pulled it off a shelf out of a small liquor store up in Nebraska, in far west Nebraska, and I hadn't seen one in a while here in Kansas. I've seen the Founder's Reserve, but I hadn't seen the 12-year-old. I like the old Glengarrys. 12s, those were good whiskey. I always enjoyed them. Anyway, like I said, you're going to pay a little over $100 for it. I've seen it as high as $120, $110 to $120 range usually. Your area may vary. You may get it cheaper. You may pay more. It's whiskey prices and common sense throughout this country makes no sense sometimes. So it is what it is in that sense. But I like it. Score-wise, since I came back from all this, I find scoring is not as easy as it used to be. Because scoring don't tell the whole story. It only tells my side of the story. And sometimes that's really difficult to portray to somebody who has a much different palate than me. And so what I might score something that's very often it's not transferable, communicable between two different people, two different palates. Personally, I like it. I'm going to give it a 90. I'm going to give it a solid 9. 90 is an A. It's a good score. Price and value wise, it's up there. You know, if you've got the money and you want to spend on it and get it, it's worth that. It's worth the try. If there's other things you'd rather try, I could understand not spending the money as well. That's real individual on that one. But from my standpoint, I'm glad I spent the money. It's been a good experience. I enjoy it. So I guess I'll leave it go at that. I've talked and rambled on long enough. I want to close it like I used to. Remember, the spirit in your glass ain't running from you. Take your time, sip, enjoy it. You'll be better for it, as will we all. And everybody stay safe out there. I'll talk to you later.